So, a film set in the future. This is day 19 of the 30-day film challenge, and I like the way this one is worded. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel and welcome to the 30-day film challenge as set out by Cineworld for the month of June. It's August. Yeah, I know I'm late with it, but that doesn't matter. There's 31 days in August and this is for 30 days. So I'm going to bring you one extra question at the very end just because I want to be that little bit extra special for you. It's a question of my own. Anyway, so today... a film set in the future. Now, I like the wording of this question because it opens it up, because it's not my favourite film set in the future. So I can pick anything I want, any damn film I like, which honestly is fantastic because I could pick you my favourite film set in the future. I'm not going to pick you my favourite film set in the future. I'm going to pick you a film set in the future. And a film that I can have a bit of a discussion about and around. So it's good in that sense. So the film that I bring you today as my choice for a film, I wonder why they didn't say it my favourite film set in the future. I wonder if that just got missed out by accident. But anyway, we're going to go with it. We're going to go with their way of putting that question across to us. Very open. So the film I pick for you today is Blade Runner 2049, the Blade Runner sequel. Yes, however many years this took for us to get, 30 odd years, something like that. Now there's a reason I picked this film, right? And that is because I am a strong advocate of this film being far superior to the original. I know, shock, horror, travesty. The first Blade Runner film from Ridley Scott is a film that is adored by film fans and film critics and film whatever else you have all over the place. Me personally, I think it's overrated. Yes, I've never seen what people like about that film in a sense. I've never got what they get from it. Now, I can watch Blade Runner 1 and I know that it's a well-crafted film. I know it's well-directed, well-acted. I know that the world that it creates is a fabulous, fabulous world. However, that being said, the film is boring. Yes, I've said it. It's a boring movie. Now, I was young when I first watched it. I've seen various versions of it. I can't tell you which ones. There's about 5 or 6 versions of it, isn't there? I don't know what ones I've seen and what ones I haven't, but I have seen from him not having a voiceover to having a voiceover to no ending with a unicorn to bit with the unicorn, the ending where it's nice and open and green, and the other one where I don't know. I've seen them all. When I was a kid, I watched it and I thought, Christ, this film is boring. It's boring. But every so often, I have revisited it quite often. I do have several versions of it in the collection, don't get me wrong. Because I can appreciate it for what it is. But it is boring. Okay? Yeah. And every so often I'll put it on, and as I got older and older, I put it on, thought, okay, let's see if I can get from it what other people get from it. And I never could. I never could. It was boring. Have I said boring enough for you? It's a boring movie. It puts me to sleep. But it looks wonderful. Anyway, so then came Blade Runner 2049. And it intrigued me. I went to the cinema to see it, and I was blown away. Denis Villeneuve, whatever his name is, Villeneuve, however you pronounce the fella's name who directed it, it's a masterpiece. This film for me is day and night compared to the first Blade Runner film. This film for me has me just sat there looking at it. It's like every scene, is poetic. Every scene is crafted in with so much thought and commitment and you know, Ryan Gosling's character, the story arc, his story, the story journey of that character within this film, the Harrison Ford stuff, everything about this film works, and it doesn't bore me. I can watch it over and over again, and it's just watching something beautiful on screen. But then I am very aware that if I'm watching it with the wife, I can imagine her being extremely bored with it. This is a funny one. The Blade Runner films are a funny one for me. Now, Blade Runner for me extends beyond the films. It does. As a comic book reader, Titans Comics have recently been doing Blade Runner comics. I have a few of their graphic novels here. So they started off with 2019, and we got 3 volumes of that. I do have them as individual issues as well. That's volume 3. And then we jump to 2029. 2029. I've still got to get volume 3 of that, I believe. We also had Blade Runner Origins. I haven't got all of them in graphic novel. I do have these all in individual issues. And we also got Blade Runner Black Lotus. Now, Blade Runner Black Lotus was an anime TV series that went for maybe 10, 12 episodes. It never got a physical release. I have a bootleg of it. And again, I like that very much. And I like the Blade Runner comics because I love the world. I love the world building and the world that was created in that first Blade Runner film by Ridley Scott. But like I said, I found the film boring. So when Blade Runner 2049 came along, and I watched it, I went cinema to watch it because I've got a love for the world building. I fell in love with this movie. It's a fantastic, fantastic film. And like I said, for me, far superior than the first Blade Runner film. And I know that is sort of fighting talk in some territories. This came with lots of art cards and a poster. I do have the steelbook release as well from, I forget their name now. Ones that done all the Marvel, you know, all the Marvel fancy fancy art ones. I forget what they're called. But anyway, yes. Wait there, hold just one sec. So yeah, I'm talking about that one there. What's it? Mondo Steelbook. Oh, my mind. Where was my mind at? I have the Mondo Steelbook for it as well. Obviously, I have a couple of editions of Blade Runner Volume 1, first one. Sorry, Blade Runner. First Blade Runner. I've got this edition. I've got the Titans of Cult edition. I have the Film Vault edition for a film that bores me. But it's not a bad film. It's a boring film, but it's not a bad film. I'll be honest with you. For me, Blade Runner, I reckon that if it didn't have that ending, you know, the ending with Rutger Hauer sat atop of the building in the rain with his little sort of speech that he gives. I've seen things that you people won't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion, sea beams glistening in the dark. All these moments, they'll be lost in time like tears in rain. Time to die. If we didn't have that moment, the moment where he saves Deckard and all this, and the film played out somewhat differently at the end, I think it'd be received somewhat differently than what it actually is. I honestly do. I think that end scene makes the film. Seriously, I think it makes it raises the film beyond being a film to being something super special. And take that scene away and end it some other sort of action orientated ending, I think the film wouldn't be applauded as much as what it is. But there we go. So there's my thoughts on Blade Runner. So like I said, a very interesting question because it was a very open question. I don't believe it was meant to be as open as it was. I think it's meant to be me bringing you my favourite film set in the future. I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, so let me know down below. You know, I don't know, such an open question. Take it as you want. If you want to talk about a film set in the future, for whatever reason, like what I've chosen this one, because it gave me something good to talk about, then do so in the comments down below. If you want to tell me your favourite film that's set in the future, then let me know in the comments down below. and let's have a nice good discussion. Also, come back tomorrow for this question here.